on a mission today.
Show me what you got. Show me what
Make
you
the choice
got.
today that you're going to be great.
Hey, it's gonna be a fight, but we the heavyweight champs, all right?
I'm with the dogs. We popping the Daniels.
Perfect throw.
Throws in zone. It is touchdown Atlanta. Perfect dime from Drake May.
Mayday!
Just go deep.
Got him.
Touchdown! J.J. McCarthy just hit the senior.
Next, going for the long ball.
That's a Denver touchdown!
It's mayhem and what they done. They went on a Hail Mary. How do you like me now? Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Show me what you got.
It really feels like the beginning of something. This is better than expected, and now it's good, like really good.
I would not be able to pick a single game to go to today. There's too many. If you want to buy single game tickets for the 2025 NFL season, go to NFL.com/tickets to purchase through NFL Ticket Network, including Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and Sports Illustrated tickets.
This is a meal, a steak and focaccia feeling, a fresh Mott's moment, a basil-y savory salad. Your ticket to Ital-Yum. Try the new Italian summer menu. It just feels good at Panera.
Why can't we say we're the best home shopping site?
Because while true, you just can't say that legally.
What if we said it in Spanish?
Homes.com es el mejor.
No.
What if he said it?
Homes.com. It's the best.
Built-in solution traps dirt and locks it away.
Wow, still white.
The upgraded strip has 75% more scrubbing power.
Still clean.
And with the new locking head, getting into tight spaces is simple.
Can I borrow it?
The all-new Swiffer Mop Deluxe, the mother of all cleans.
Are you disabled and can no longer work? This is an important message for you. Are you between the age of 45 and 63 and need help filing for disability benefits, or were denied by your insurance company or the Social Security Administration?
Call Premier Disability at 1-800-979-7203 now.
Whether you're a first-time filer or filed before and were denied, you'll pay nothing unless you are approved for benefits. Thousands of disability claims are unnecessarily denied each month.
Call Premier Disability at 1-800-979-7203 now.
Work with a team who will fight to get you the benefits you deserve, who understands the physical, emotional, and potential financial impacts, and will share their insider expertise. There are time limits to apply for benefits. If you are between the age of 45 to 63 and need help filing a disability claim, or filed previously and were denied, call our helpline now.
In the fire. That's what we call Jason Cabinda. When he is not stopping by GMFB, he's working on a ton of different projects. And Cabinda, you're going to share with us what you have been keeping busy with recently. It's a project near and dear to your heart. What's going on?
Yes, the project I am working on currently is a documentary called The Turnaround, and it's on our 2016 Big Ten Championship team over at Penn State University. As you all know, there were sanctions that happened at Penn State that were handed down back in 2012 that were called the death penalty. Penn State was never supposed to recover, was never supposed to be a good team. Again, you could reference SMU in the 80s, who also received the death penalty that really didn't become relevant until 4 years later, really last year. So, you know, we were able to win the Big Ten championship just 4 years later, and we have some great characters that came in and were able to uplift this program, bring it back and keep it afloat and keep it a top 10 perennial team like Saquon Barkley, myself, Marcus Allen, Chris Godwin, and so on and so forth. So these guys are all going to be a part of, this film. And, kind of really talk about the player narrative, because everybody knows what the media thought, what the Joe Paul lovers thought, this, that, and the third, but the player narrative really got lost, what we had to overcome, the adversities we had to overcome in order to bring this program back. So super excited for this doc.
As you should be, Jason Cabinda, to have executive producer on something to be proud of. You executive produced the turnaround, apparently, physically, on those Penn State rosters. Cabinda, everybody, will keep an eye out for it. GMFB on a Monday. GMFB Overtime. We're happy to have you. We are also diving in headfirst into the loaded NFC North. Opinions aplenty today. Who should be considered the front runner to win this division? What player or coach is the most important to their team? TV 20 in Detroit, good morning to you. We have a couple of hosts on the show today that may have your Lions on their hearts and their minds, Manti.
Plus 38 The Spot in Kansas City. We have some big news for you when it comes to your mascot, KC Wolf. We'll hear from the man behind the mask or the costume. Now, we know he brought a lot of smiles to your face, and somebody else that might have done it for a little bit was Jared Allen, the Hall of Fame pass rusher, who also joins the show here on a Monday on GMFB OT.
GMFB Monday, Manti, Jason, Cynthia. Cynthia, you oftentimes in this building at NFL Network are hanging out with the fantasy football guys. Do they feel jealousy, rage, or are they supportive of you showing up here on GMFB?
Well, Adam's jealous. We know Rank's jealous. Sorry, Rank. Just keep the seat warm
She
for
turned
you.
to the camera and said it.
That's right. 'Cause, you know, Rank, can't wait to see you.
Cynthia just shows up in her blazer. Rank shows up in his costumes on GMFB and tries to sell his fantasy perspective, and we accept all of it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm buying pretty much anything Rank is selling.
Good point.
It's a joke. We really like each other. We have a lot of fun on fantasy. Well, I mean, we'll be starting pretty soon because we get going in the preseason.
Yeah.
Because you need to know what to do for your draft. So.
You absolutely should. Yeah, there should be some stressful drafts that start August 1st, and you have to just take what you picked, and you have no idea how the training camp went.
Why do people do that?
Yeah, don't make no sense.
Why are you making so much stress for yourself, people?
Jason Cabinda, how are you doing today? Where are you? Where do we find you before we start talking on GMFB?
I'm doing great. I'm at Mom's house in Jersey. Just happy to be here, excited to be here.
Perfect. It validates every take that you have, that in fact that your Jason Cabinda takes are coming from Mom's office. It's time for the lead block. We wonder what Mrs. Cabinda thinks about the NFC North, but for that, we'll take it from Jason. Last season, the Packers became just the fourth team in NFL history to finish third or worse in their division, despite winning 11 or more games. Okay, so third or worse, but they won 11 plus. They lost in the wild card round to the eventual Super Bowl champion Eagles back in January. Here's their GM, Brian Gutekunst, on his team's philosophy in building a winning team.
We played some really good football. We've been really competitive at times. But I think it's time for the consistency day in and day out to be there, and that allows you to compete for championships, you know. So I think this group has grown together the way we kind of wanted it to. And I think there's obviously some steps left, but I think they're ready for that challenge.
Faction of the fan base that legit thinks that you and or the Green Bay Packers are satisfied with just winning a lot of football games.
I've never been a big believer to try to build up for a window. I never thought that's a wise thing to do. I want to be, try to be in this tournament every single year. But yeah, when you walk around this building and you talk to the different people, I think this goes throughout our building and how important winning championships is. I don't think that would be something they would question.
Leaders in the clubhouse for me for fascinating divisions go to the AFC West and the NFC North. If you had an intriguing storyline, Cynthia, that your eyes are just inherently drawn to in this division, the NFC North, where do they go?
I mean, let's keep it right there in Green Bay. I think it's interesting to get rid of Jair Alexander right now. I mean, it just happened like a couple of weeks ago. So I'm curious what's going on with this defense, because it feels to me like the Packers, the Cheesehead TV people, they put it really well. Like, they win a lot of games, but they haven't kind of gone all the way since Aaron was there a while ago. So I'm very curious to know, when it comes to this defense, what's Jeff Hafley doing, right? Like, what's going to happen here? Because this division, I can't believe I'm saying this, and Jamie, I think you'll probably agree with it. Since when are we like, the NFC North, the margins are razor thin?
Crazy.
It's crazy. So when you're looking at this pressure rate, when you're looking at the ability for the corners to buy some time for the front to get that pressure. Looking at 20th in the NFL last year, like, okay, that's a little worse than bottom half. Like, but it could get worse without Jair Alexander or, corners giving you some time to be able to bring that pressure. So I don't know what I'm looking at with this Packers team. They've paid Jordan Love. They drafted a wide receiver. It felt like they had 3 wide receivers, but who was their wide receiver 1 last year?
Right.
What's going on? Like, very, very confusing stuff outside of Josh Jacobs, who is absolutely a great pick for your fantasy football team.
And it's not like you have some lowbrow, crop of quarterbacks that you're going against either. Like, the Vikings are right there. They don't know what they have with their quarterback. But, Caleb Williams could hit a second-year surprise, and Jared Goff, great. So, Kabinda, what do you got for intriguing storyline in this division?
Yeah, I think that just to start off, I think this is the best division in football right now, the NFC North. I mean, these are all good teams. These are teams that are going to win games this year. I don't think any of them will be bad teams. But let me say this. I don't think I've ever seen a team go all in the way the Vikings have gone all in on J.J. McCarthy without even seeing this kid really play a snap of a regular season. I mean, if there's a way to build around a quarterback, you talk about the O-line, bringing in both Ryan Kelly, a 4-time Pro Bowler, Will Fries, who just got paid, both from the same team, both interior guys who already have that chemistry and gel going on. Jonathan Allen on the defensive line, Javon Hargrave. I mean, they are really gearing up on both sides of the ball and putting as much support as they possibly can around J.J. McCarthy. He's just got to go out there and perform. So they're all in on him. Obviously, they know some stuff in that building. They passed on Aaron Rodgers in the
Welcome in, everyone. It's the WKYT Now Desk, as I've been calling it. Kelsey, Souto, and Kristen Kennedy here from the WKYT Investigates team. We do want to talk a little bit today about a story that's airing tonight at 6 o'clock that Kristen's been working on. It's about fake obituaries.
It is. So we received an email to our WKYT Investigates line from someone who started asking us to look into what happened to a family friend. They were planning a funeral for their loved one, and they started seeing online these fake obituaries. I mean, they hadn't even scheduled the funeral yet, and they were dealing with this. So they wanted us to look into how this could even happen. We thought this is a great idea. I mean, I'd heard about this before. I'd never heard of a family, especially a family in Lexington, that this happened to. So I reached out to the viewer who asked us to look into it. I gave her my phone number. I said, can you please pass this on to the family? Of course, they were still dealing with funeral arrangements, and so she said she would. I wasn't trying to pressure them into any amount of time spent talking to us. The father, Brett Tinch, he ended up reaching out just a day later. I mean, he said he was very passionate about wanting people to know what happened to him, what happened to his family. So we ended up talking. We talked about his son Noah for a very long time. We talked about these fake obituaries that they kept seeing on social media. They started popping up on Facebook, and they were pretty prevalent. All you had to do was search their late son's name on Facebook, and there were, I mean, half a dozen to a dozen obituaries that weren't actually correct. So when they started looking into these, and we're going to show you some video too, that's going to show a few of the screen grabs. It's going to give you an idea of what those screen grabs were. They were giving information that wasn't exactly right. So the age would be off, the middle name would be wrong. There would be some vague details about his death, and these were details that were, well, one, inaccurate, but two, things that no family members necessarily wanted out there. This wasn't something that they were comfortable at the time sharing about the way in which he passed. And this was it was a tragic accident what happened, and they were hoping that they could keep it as a tragic accident. They did feel the need to reveal some of those details, though, because a lot of these fake obituaries were starting to talk about some details that were just wrong. So we had a conversation with him, and then we went looking for an AI expert. We were able to find one at Eastern Kentucky University, Dr. Lisa Blue. She specializes in this. She talked with us about how this happens. I mean, this is for profit. These are websites that you can create very quickly. They work through AI. I think it was a surprise to us how fast you could make these sites. They take small, just chunks of information that people are sharing online on social media, and they are creating an obituary. Sometimes it has the dates of birth, death correct. Sometimes it doesn't. I said in our case, one of the names was wrong. I mean, it's wild how fast this can spread. And so Dr. Blue in this story talks to us about what to do if this happens as well, how to spot a fake obituary, how to make sure you're not sharing things that are actually harmful for the family that's dealing with this.
But also, what a terrible time to have to deal with this. I mean,
awful time.
First of all, they were out of state, right? They're on a trip, and to come home to see that, to find that, I'm sure they were getting messages beforehand, before they were probably even ready to reveal or talk about some of that stuff. And you mentioned too, not wanting to discuss some of the more private details, but almost being forced to because the internet has, and artificial intelligence has done that.
So one of the things that they did want to do is to release some information to us about what happened, because they didn't want anyone sharing the wrong, the inaccurate websites that they were finding. But yeah, I mean, Mr. Tinch's wife, she wasn't even back yet before they started seeing these fake obituaries pop up. I mean, they hadn't even brought Noah's body back to Kentucky. They did not have funeral plans in place, and here they are trying to deal with these fake sites. I mean, one of them even had a link to a donation page, which was clearly not their donation page.
Also, I mean, you talk about misinformation, and in a case like this too, he was a notable student and athlete, and someone that a lot of people knew about, and so it spread even faster almost in some of these cases. And you talked about Dr. Blue. The more tragic the accident, almost the more salacious it becomes.
So Dr. Blue had mentioned to us, this is not something we touched on in the story, but she did say when social media posts start circulating, all within a certain amount of time, you start seeing things, and there might be keywords that some of these AI-developed websites are going to look for. Tragic accident is one of those keywords. Died suddenly would be a phrase. They're looking for obituaries. They want to create obituaries that will capitalize off of tragedy. So they are not posting an obituary for a 95-year-old who died naturally. They are looking for things that are going to grab headlines, and that is what they're posting on social media. And unfortunately, the family calling this a tragic accident was something that sent some of these AI websites into overdrive and created these obituaries that people started sharing.
This is something we, did 10 years ago even think could happen and we're really dealing with. But we want to take a quick break, and we'll come right back and talk about a few more things. That story, again, airs tonight at 6 o'clock, so stay with us. We'll be right back. Reach out to us directly and offer up story ideas, and that's sort of how this almost came to be. Someone pointed this out to us, and we'd actually dealt with this on previous stories. We're a little more in tune to it, know what to look for, and know what to, because these sites do look real and legitimate, and it could be very confusing to someone who's unfamiliar with them. So talk a little about how people can contact us and offer up story ideas, and also what that process looks like on our end, trying to put those on air.
So the great thing about this story, too, is Dr. Blue really laid out some step-by-step information on if you spot a fake obituary, if you think something is wrong, the ways to report it on social media, on Facebook, and then there are also ways that you can report it on Google. And the more reports a lot of things get, the lower in the timeline they're going to appear. So the further down on Google they will be. And you really want to make sure that you're sharing the most accurate information possible, sharing the correct obituary as much as you can to make sure that goes up as number one search engine when you are trying to get this type of information out. I'm going to make sure that we get Dr. Blue's step-by-step instructions on our web story tonight. If this is something you have more questions about, if you want to know how to report fake sites, it doesn't even have to be a fake obituary. You can look for these AI-generated websites. If you see them, if they're just sharing news stories that are inaccurate, there are ways that you can report that. And we do get a lot of ideas from emails that come in, from phone calls. If anyone does have a story idea, the email address is investigates@wkyt.com, and that's the best way to reach us.
All right, don't forget, you can see this story tonight at 6 o'clock on WKYT. As Kristen mentioned, we'll also have it online for you as well. We'll have links in there for any information, but you can also send us story ideas directly, things for us to check out, look into. People always say, why haven't you covered this? Why haven't you covered that? We don't know what we don't know, so we rely on you to send us ideas and input.
All right. We'll see you at 6 o'clock on WKYT.